Hello, everybody. Hope all of you are doing well. And it seems like we're finally starting to get a little bit of better weather here lately. I know that if you're here in the Bay Area, we had a little bit of rain last night and early morning today, but overall for the last week, it's been pretty sunny. So hopefully the roads are clearing up for everybody, and the roads are a little bit safer for that as well. And today we're going to be going over the best cars to start a YouTube channel. And of course, everybody here knows that I am partial to BMWs, specifically the 2 Series, and very specifically the F22 F87 platform. But I'm going to talk about a few things that are very general. So whatever we talk about here, yes, it's going to be geared towards BMWs, but you can definitely take what we go over here today and apply it to any other car brand as well. It's not just to BMW. And I think that when people are looking to get started on YouTube in the automotive niche, they often get lost and think, well, I need to do things to a car that everybody likes or a car that is very popular. And although that's a very good way of thinking about it, when you look at other really big YouTubers, sometimes they cycle through cars. Sometimes big YouTubers like Chris Fix or Mr. Subaru, they don't even really outlay like the car that they're working on, or it's not always the same car. And yet they have a massive following. So don't feel like you have to pigeonhole yourself to like the most common car, the most popular car, or the most, I guess, talked about car at the time, because otherwise, if you keep trying to cycle through cars or chasing a car or several cars, you're going to end up in debt really, really quick, especially if you're trying to earn some type of living doing this. So I think the first thing that you have to look at is what's the best car for you? Because although you might be doing things like DIYs and reviews on parts and maybe even tools as you expand, people are going to want to know why you chose this car. So for me, I'm not married, I don't have kids, so the 2 Series makes sense, right? I just need a simple, small commuter car. One of the big things that concerns me is being able to parallel park, and having a longer, wider car makes it a little bit more challenging. Versus having a smaller car, maybe you can fit into a space where a 3 or 4 Series can't. But if you're a family person, then maybe you want something like the X1, X3, X5 even. And so people are going to want to know why you chose this car. And somebody who's not necessarily a car enthusiast or a mechanic, but somebody who's looking for a car to fulfill certain needs in their life, might be looking to you for advice. So never discount the person who is trying to gain insight for a car that is strictly for the car, not, hey, something's broken, I need to fix it, or hey, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. There's going to be somebody out there like, hey, I'm shopping around for a family car or a family SUV, maybe even a van. And, they're looking at so many different brands, but then they want to know your expertise on this particular model. So never discount your personal experience as to why this car fits your needs as just a consumer. And then from there, you're going to want to look at commonality. So if maybe, for example, you're debating between the 3 and the 4 Series, most people know BMWs from the 3 Series. And although the 4 Series is starting to catch on in popularity, it wasn't the car that was always talked about. If you look at people who have been shopping around for cars, say like 20, 30 years even, they all know the 3 Series. If you tell them about a 4 Series now and they're not a big car enthusiast, they're going to say, oh, they make that now? Oh, there's a 2 Series too. I thought it was just the 3. They're not really going to know about it. And that's the person that might look up something like, oh, weird knocking noise from the engine bay, or I have a weird noise coming from the wheel well. And they might not even necessarily want to do the repair themselves, but they're going to want to know how much that part costs. So if you're able to do, say, like a DIY on that video, but also show examples of that sound or the trouble spot in the car, and if they can identify with that, maybe they'll click the link and they'll be like, okay, now I know how much the part is. Now I need to go figure out how much the labor is. So if you're looking to do this and you're stuck between a couple of cars, obviously the more popular car is going to be more profitable. But the other side of that is, because it's so popular, there's probably somebody else with your car on YouTube. I've been fortunate enough that a lot of the people that have had the M235i kind of fell off from the YouTube spectrum, or they don't post as often. So I kind of have this space all to myself. But in a weird way, it's kind of bad too, because if you're the only one with the car making videos on YouTube, that means it's probably not that popular of a car. And so although you own the space, it's not that big of a space to have. So thinking beyond the commonality of the chassis, you'll want to think about the relatability of the car. So for the 2 Series, although maybe not a lot of people have that car or have an F22, they might have the N55 engine. So the N55 engine travels across, the 2, 3, 4, and 5 Series. And it even goes back even further into the E chassis. So this is where the relatability aspect of it comes into play. And if you have another engine that is very similar to another engine, say for example, the N20 is very similar to the N26. And because a lot of people buy these cars because they're SULEV cars, so they have the warranty up to 150,000 miles or 15 years, this is very relatable. And this is the entry-level BMW that was put into a lot of the 3 Series, 2 Series, 4 Series. So this is an extremely popular engine. So if you do things like oil changes, spark plugs, all that type of stuff, people, even though maybe you don't have the exact same chassis, the fact that you have the same engine, all of that mechanical know-how is going to be the same. And maybe somebody is looking at a 3 or 4 Series with this engine. Although you have the 2 Series, if you title it right and tag it right, you're going to pop up in search, and then they're going to say, okay, they don't have the same chassis, but they're going to know what a SULEV engine is, and is it a good deal? Is it reliable? Do I have to fix a lot of things on it? What is the limitations of the SULEV warranty? You will be able to relate that information to them. And so it doesn't always have to be just about the chassis, but the internals as well. So the engine, exhaust, interior, all of those things even. I think one of my most popular videos is how to wrap the interior. So maybe they don't even have the same car as you, completely different brand, but the technical know-how and tips and tricks of how to wrap interior trim is going to be relatable across every car platform. So don't discount yourself just because you think that your car is not as relatable. Maybe the topic in itself is very, very relatable. And next up is we have mods, right? Is this car in the aftermarket scene, does it have a lot of support for modifications and upgrades? So this is a bit overkill here with the carbon fiber strut brace retrofit. But generally speaking, I would say is if you're really looking to do this and you want to make as much money as possible, or you want to be as profitable or as marketable as possible, then something like an M car isn't necessarily going to be your best bet, because when you get an M car, it has all the M parts. However, a lot of people who don't get the M cars or get the M Lite cars, they're going to want some of those M mods on the car. And because a lot of the things within the chassis are the same, like the bolt holes, even like the electronics, and the wiring system is just blank, or there's not a fuse for it, or there's not a connection for it. But if you just get the part and you join the two connections, or if you, you know, change a couple of parts in order to get the carbon fiber strut brace retrofit, then the people who are looking to do those modifications will look to you. Versus if you have an M car, your car already comes with these things. So you won't be able to upgrade to something that you already have, as opposed to, you know, hey, I want the M3 or the F80 M3 control arms on my F30, on my F22. Things like that people will want to do, and they'll seek your knowledge out for that. And, you know, like, even, I think this is very similar to any other car, right? Or any other brand where you have the top level trim and then all the other ones are somewhat handicapped to that respect. But if somebody picks up a little bit of money, or they have a little bit more, or they want to upgrade, they're going to usually match it up to the top level trim. And so that gives you that entire plethora. So you have not only the aftermarket support, but you have the OEM stuff, or the like the higher trim OEM stuff that you could upgrade to, that will give you leverage as far as having content to produce and sharing information with other people who are looking to do the same thing. And even if somebody has already done these modifications, it's not necessarily like especially if you're starting out, don't look at it as you have to do it better than them. You just need to get a slightly different camera angle than them. Because somebody who is a true consumer and doesn't want to make content, if they're trying to do an oil change for the first time or change brakes from the first time, they want to look at it from every different angle so that they have like the most in-depth information that they have in knowing what to do if something goes wrong, how to address it. If a bolt gets stuck here, what's the best way to get it out? So if you can provide some sort of insight that is not yet on YouTube, then that is going to attract people to you. So say, for instance, even if you want to do BMW videos, you know, even I sometimes get intimidated when you have somebody like Keys, and then you have he changed his name. It's not Thick F30 anymore. It's Thick Whips, I think is what he changed it to. I'm pretty sure that's what he changed it to. And then you have Justin, who's out there. So you have a lot of big BMW YouTubers out there. However, when they do a job, whenever they do an install, they're probably only doing 1 to 2 camera angles per bolt, nut, fastener, whatever. And even myself, I'm probably only doing 2 camera angles at most. But guess what? When you have 360 degrees of rotation from all these different angles, there's an angle that somebody probably wants that is not yet out there that you can provide. So by being able to do all of these modifications, just check out somebody else's video. That way you don't make the exact same video as them, but you offer some sort of different insight when it comes to making that modification. And that brings us to the last thing, which is profitable, because I do want you guys to be profitable, because honestly, that's one of the main reasons why people quit YouTube. That's why I'm like, sometimes it's nice to say that, you know, I have the space for the 2 Series platform, but I'm also kind of sad too, because there's nobody that I can relate to. There's nobody that I can kind of lean on for advice or insight or innovation even on this chassis. Whereas if you go to the 3 Series, there's tons of that, right? And so I think one of the reasons, if these people made a little bit more money, or if they made even good side money, that they would still be making videos on the 2 Series. And so the big thing here is that, I'll be completely honest with you guys, is getting endorsements and sponsors for car parts is very, very tough, because a lot of these vendors are getting their parts from the same thing and they're just stamping their name on it. They're getting it from some manufacturing plant in China or Taiwan, and then they stamp their logo on it. Very few companies make their stuff in-house. And so they're all competing with each other to offer the lowest price, because they know that if they even offer it for $5 more than the next person, they're going to lose that sale. So it's very hard for them to turn a profit. So expect in the beginning, when you're still growing your audience, that if you say, hey, I'm very interested in your part, but could I get a discount? And I'll make a video, or I'll do a reel or something like that. They're more inclined to do that. And what they'll probably do is they'll probably give it to you at cost. So basically they'll make no profit off of you. To a certain extent, they take a loss because they'll probably cover the shipping because you're marketing now, and they know that marketing isn't cheap. So that's one way you could remain profitable, is do all of your routine maintenance first, because those are things that you need to do. You have to do in order to keep your car running. Don't look to like the horsepower mods, the suspension mods, if your suspension is fine. If you're, if everything is working fine, then just do the essentials first, because those things you might be able to get for free. Because think about it, spark plugs, they're not even $100. You'll probably get that for free. Oil, filters, things like that. Very easy to get for free because they are at such a low price point, and they think, a video, even if it's at a beginner level, is still good marketing for us. Like, that's worth $70, $80. And then if you want to move up into something like getting charge pipes, intercoolers, where you're talking about $100, $200 now, maybe $300, you've built up a reputation and a library and an audience. So they're more willing to trust you now. And then from there, you can go into things like maybe wheels, exhaust, where you're touching the $1,000 price point. Now we're really talking. However, we all know that there's only so many mods you can do on your car. So you have to look at how you can branch out from that and expand beyond just car parts, which is why you've seen me a lot recently doing things like tool reviews, because it's not just the mods, but the tools you need to do the installation of the mods. And then we can get into the debate of, do you really need high quality tools? Are places that like Harbor Freight that offer cheap tools, is it worth it? Do you really need that quality? And then it depends, right? Are you a professional? Are you a DIY? Or do you wrench every weekend, every other day? Right? So this goes back to the first thing, is the car is for you. The car is for you. The tools are for you. And based off of your experience, you're going to say, Harbor Freight is good because of the frequency in which I use my tools and how much I'm pounding on them, versus, yes, I'm a professional. I use these tools every day. And so, yes, I want to buy Snap-on, whatever. Just giving you guys an example. But the big thing is, don't buy parts or tools or things to make content, because it takes so long in the car niche to make up the expense of that part or that tool. If you're starting to roll like a couple $100, because the profit margin isn't that big, even once you get monetized and even affiliate links and all of that. The best thing to do is to see if you can get a deal on these things, and then, save up when you really need something. That way you're kind of future-proofing yourself. Don't think like, I need to get an exhaust because it's going to get a lot of views. Yes, you might be right. However, it's going to take you a really long time to recoup that money, even if they give it to you at a discount. And the other thing too is, know your worth. As you make more videos, as you grow your audience, as your video quality improves, your rate should go up, right? So in the beginning, maybe you do things for a $70 part, but then as you progress, like, the parts should go up. And if people want you to advertise, then again, what is your worth at that time? And then if it's a big brand, they might say things like, oh, well, we'll give you exposure because we're a big brand, we have audience. That's great, but exposure doesn't pay the bills. And again, I want you guys to be profitable so that you can stay here a little bit longer, or even turn this into a full-time career if that's what you really want to do. But just don't let the brands take advantage of you, because they are already getting a significant discount by having us, the creators, create content for them and then deliver it to a very specific audience. Like if you think about it, like Super Bowl, in order to run like a 15-second ad is like so many millions of dollars, because you're giving it to such a huge audience. But for us, but for them, I mean, all those people might not be buyers. However, if you only have 100 subscribers, it's very likely in the car niche, a lot of them either have the same engine, chassis, or whatever issue. They may need that part, especially if it's maintenance, like spark plugs, oil, filters. Those are consumables. So they're always going to need to be replenished. And that's where you can make your money. It's small things that add up to the big thing. So I hope that this helped. And as usual, we'll open it up for Q&A. I just wanted to give some insight. I heard some people I was reading some comments over the last week, and some people were chiming in from the last time we did a topic like this, talking about YouTube and doing automotive stuff. And it seemed like a lot of people were kind of down on themselves. And so I just wanted to help people see, like, it is possible. Just expect it to be part-time in the beginning, and then from there you can scale. So let's see what we got here. Silly Goose, what's up, man? I was the guy with the oil pressure issue. I don't know if you remember. I do remember. You found the issue. What is it? Okay, I'm gonna follow his comments for a little bit. I'll message you on Instagram and send you the video. Okay, look forward to it. Mr. LDR, Mercedes rules. Okay. I mean, Mercedes is a very big platform as well. You could definitely build a channel off of that. M-Truck was Mercedes' worst design. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you like Mercedes, I mean, you could definitely do that. I mean, Mercedes is very, very popular. So, I mean, I think that you would have no problem if you wanted to do a thing for that. I think like maybe cars that like they don't make anymore, like trims that they don't make anymore, are only going to be the issue. Like, yes, Toyota is very popular, but they don't make Tercels anymore, right? You know, Civics are going to be more popular than like RX-8s. Miatas are going to be popular. Like, looking at stuff like that. And yes, like there are those YouTube channels with like exotic cars or whatever, but those people make pretty good money before YouTube. They weren't banking on YouTube to make them the money to afford said car. Navid Gaming. Hi, I just got a BMW 420i and I want to start a YouTube channel. What do you think about it? I'm from the UK. 420, why not? I mean, yeah, like I said, anybody can start a YouTube channel, no matter whether you want to do DIYs, reviews, vlogging, or whatever. Just, you have to give your own spin on it, your own twist, your own perspective. And then, like I said, just watch other people and see how you can add to what they've already done. Don't try to necessarily be better than that other person, but fill in a void that they left open. Because when it comes to this stuff with cars, think about it like a puzzle that will never be finished. Pieces are getting laid on the board, but there's a section of the board that's empty. Fill that spot, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're better, that you're bigger, or whatever, all these other things, but you definitely helped fill in the picture. I want to start recording on my iPhone 14 at first, then maybe get a camera later. I want to see how it goes. Okay, yeah, you should definitely do that. And I talked about this last time, is if anybody's looking to get started on YouTube and you're ready to buy a camera, your camera needs to be at least $1,000. And the reason why I say that is because your phone is probably very close to $1,000 already. And what do most big cell phone brands advertise? Their cell phone. So most of the R&D is going into the cell phone. Into the camera. And also the video recording capabilities. You know, they say, oh, we have slow motion now, we have stabilization, we have 30 frames per second, you know, wide angle, you know, you can zoom in 200 times. They advertise the camera like crazy. So if you think about percentages as far as R&D with respect to the money, most of that is going into the camera. So if you have a phone that's worth $1,000, I would say $800 is going into that camera. So if you're trying to buy like a DSLR camera that's $500, you're actually downgrading and wasting $500 because you have $1,000 camera right in your pocket. And when it comes to cars, we're oftentimes fitting into tight areas, and having a cell phone is very advantageous for that. I would say when it comes to automotive stuff, start with your phone and buy lights first. Buy video lights first. The small portable ones, you'll never regret it, because no matter what camera you get, no matter if you have to go back to your phone or if you're starting on your phone, good lighting is universal to any video recording that you do. It just is. And plus too, when you start working on your car, you're going to like that you have a bunch of lights. You can never have enough lighting when it comes to working on your car. Get a tripod and stabilizer to record my phone at first. Yeah, that's it. That's all that you need. I would actually say get 2 tripods so that you can get, you know, like standard height shots, and then get like a mini tripod as well. So in case you need to do anything low on the car, that's going to be very, very handy. And then some small tripods, if the legs are thin enough, you can also use it kind of like as a selfie stick, like if you wanted to vlog with it. So it'll serve 2 purposes as well. And if you say outgrow that small tripod, you could end up using it as a small tripod for your lights. Thank you. That's really helpful. I have a BMW 2 Series as well, which I'm selling right now, but your videos really helped with my mods. Thank you so much. Yep, no problem at all. Happy to help. I hope that you had a good time with your 2 Series, and I hope that you get back some pretty good money, or make money even. I don't know if the market is still hot for cars as it was 1 to 2 years ago, but car prices here they're kind of leveling, but they're not like crazy high as they were before. But you know, hey, I hope that you do make some pretty good money with that. I didn't think about the 2 tripods. That's a good idea. Yeah, I absolutely love I'm actually using my small tripod right over there right now as my secondary light. And I was filming at the shop today. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but one of the shots that I got for the exhaust, or the sound clips that I was getting, I was using my small tripod. I feel like I use my small tripod more than I use my big one. Or they're just about the same. Like you won't regret getting both. I'll tell you that. I had an amazing time with my 2 Series, going to be heartbroken when I sell it. Well, you have the 4 Series. I'll be honest, the 4 Series looks better. It looks better, but I think the 2 Series functions better from like my perspective of, you know, got no kids, and most of the time I want to parallel park, and the 4 Series is just as long as the 3. So I like that I can fit into tighter spaces when it comes to parallel parking. Yeah, in the UK, there's really good profit margins with cars. I'm a student right now studying computer science at university, but I sell cars on the side, make some really good money on it here. Hey, maybe that could be your thing, man. Maybe you could talk about that. I think Exotic Car Place. That's another YouTube channel. Like, he doesn't have a specific car. He just talks about cars. So if he can do it, you can do it. I mean, it seems like you're very knowledgeable. You've been doing it for a long time. So you'll have plenty of content to share. All right. Yeah. If anybody has any other questions on this stuff, I mean, don't be shy. Feel free to ask. Getting started on YouTube can be intimidating, but it's not impossible. Once you get the hang of things, once you get used to being on camera, things like that, then it comes like second nature. And there's also tons of like free resources like Think Media, vidIQ. They have their own YouTube channel. I would say until you start making good money with YouTube, don't pay for any gurus, coaches, or anything like that. Like if you want to buy books or buy podcast, like buy a, like Spotify, whatever, like a subscription like that, where you have access to podcasts, that's fine, right? But don't pay like hundreds or thousands of dollars into a YouTube course until you've consumed pretty much all the free resources on YouTube, which is almost impossible. All right. So until you're starting to make some serious money, it makes no sense to pay for YouTube guru help because there's so much free stuff out there. And unless you feel that you've done all of the things that have been recommended by these free resources and you're making good money, you're just kind of throwing your money away at that point. It's almost like, say for example, somebody who's like a child, like a 5-year-old, 7-year-old wants to be a quarterback, and they're saying, I want to learn from Tom Brady. They're not at that level yet. They haven't developed enough skill set and information to train with somebody like that. Or basketball, you have Michael Jordan. Baseball, little controversial, but I think probably like one of the best hitters that's still alive today is like a Barry Bonds or an Albert Pujols. But you can't be at like square one and expect to learn from like a Hall of Famer. So same thing here. Consume all the free stuff. Don't get tricked into like, hey, enter my course and you'll gain like 1 million followers. Don't fall for that stuff. Naveed. Yeah, I would love to share my knowledge with other people. Why not? Look forward to it. I'm waiting. Yeah, I definitely support anybody who wants to do this. I mean, it's a good way to learn marketing. It's a good way to make side money. It's a good way to develop your personal speaking skills, editing skills, express your creativity. And the great thing is like YouTube is free, right? If anybody wanted to start a business, it costs money. Now, of course, like YouTube, when you really look at it in its totality, like you can nitpick and say it's not free, right? You can say like, oh, well, you have to have your phone, a camera, your laptop, your internet. Like, yes, of course, like there's things that are involved to make it go that do cost money. But most of the time people already have a phone. They're already paying for internet. They probably already have a computer. And so you're using things for your YouTube channel that you would have been paying for whether or not that you have a YouTube channel, right? Versus if you wanted to start your own business, say a restaurant, you would have to buy the physical place. If you do a franchise, you would have to get rights for the franchise. You'd have to buy the food. You'd have to hire the employees. Like there's a lot of initial investment monetarily and time-wise that you have to do versus YouTube. It's like you just sit down, you do the thing. You already have all that it takes to get started. I think like other things are like multi-level marketing. There's like an entry fee, or you have to buy the product in order to sell it. YouTube the price of entry is so low for anybody who's like thinking about being a business owner, thinking about getting into sales, marketing, all these things. This is the best way to try it. And if you don't like this, then why would you waste your money and having to find out the same thing, right? This is the best, most affordable way to figure out if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be on camera, if you can handle like extreme criticism. Sometimes it's going to be unfair. Like people on the internet are really mean sometimes, especially when they know that the person on the receiving end of their comment is never going to be face to face with them, right? So expect things like that. But I believe that everybody here is going to be able to build enough, you know, mental toughness and thick skin to get through it all and make the best of it. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. You've got me excited to start my channel now. I'll get back to you after I've made my first few videos. Yes. Actually, what I would recommend is when you're just starting out, make a few videos first, like make a bunch first. And if I'm not mistaken, is make your YouTube channel. And I think places like vidIQ and TubeBuddy, which are like, they help you rank better. Like they help you like make good titles and tags and descriptions. I think they offer something like a lifetime membership if you have like zero videos and 0 followers and things like that. So like brand new channels. So like see if you can find like the lifetime membership. And it's pretty expensive if you're just starting. I think it's like maybe like $100 to $300. I forget off the top of my head. But then you'll never have to pay for it again. And then once you have that to scale, make like at least like 8 videos. You know, 10 to be safe if you're going to be inconsistent. Like if you're not going to make them every week, I would say make 10. And then once you make your 10th, schedule them one by one to be released every single week. Don't schedule 10 in one day. Like schedule 1 per week. And then if you start to build up too much in the backlog, then you release 2 a week. But at least that way you have a buffer for the next 2 months or so, that if you're unable to record, you have something for the following week. What editing software do you recommend? I use Final Cut because you pay, this one I do believe it's $300 and you're done. Versus Adobe, I think you pay, I forget, like 30, somewhere between $30 or $50. And I know that there's other companies out there, but look at the reviews. The thing that I really like about Final Cut is that it edits really well on Mac. If you already have a Mac, it's like the best way to do it because it's all integrated and how it talks together and all that stuff. And if you're just starting out, like it's perfectly fine. And even if you decide to upgrade to Adobe, you can work off of Final Cut for a few years and get your $300 worth before you upgrade if you're really techie. And what do you think about using Tin2, etc.? I don't know what that is. To promote a YouTube channel. I make TikTok for my BMW 2 Series a while ago, and I got some really good views on videos like 500K, 200K, but here we go. Do you think about using, oh wait, using Tin to record my mods, then plug in my YouTube channel potentially at the end, telling viewers to go to YouTube to watch the whole thing there? You can. If you look at my my profile for Instagram and TikTok, I just put a thing on my profile. It just says full DIYs or something, or like full length videos, and then I link the YouTube channel, or I link my Instagram on TikTok, and then if they go there, they'll see the thing. If they really want it, they'll find you. The only hard thing is with short form content like that is when you say like check out the full length video and all of that, it takes up about 15 seconds or so. So it really 10 to 15 seconds, depending on how fast you can spit it out, it really eats into your time. If you're doing a minute long video, I would say just have the same name for everything. If they really want it, they'll come find you. Or you can just, if they comment, they say, oh, I want to see the whole thing. You comment and you say, oh, it's on YouTube. Here's how to find me. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. Just because I feel like that much time it takes away from what I'm trying to say. What I say now at the end of my videos is, if say, for example, I'm installing coilovers, I'll say at the end of the video, I was like, oh, well, if you think that this is the best suspension modification, then maybe you want to check out this other video. Or I'll say something like, if you're thinking about doing this installation yourself, then you'll want to check out the tool set that helped me complete this job, that you can check out my previous video. And also too, is it keeps them on that same platform, versus sometimes people, when they're on TikTok, they don't want to jump to YouTube. If they're on Instagram, they want to stay on Instagram. So if you tell them check out your previous video, they'll just go to your page and they'll scroll, they'll find the video and they'll watch. Soul Slinger, how's it going? Oh, you're helping your buddy with the 740i? Oh, nice. That's probably why. Oh my goodness. I guess anybody would want to trade a car with you, because you're going to trade the car with them and then you're going to help work on it with them. I think your buddy got a really good deal. Oh my goodness. I hope you're doing well. I hope the weather's is clearing up over there as well for you. Navid, yeah, making many videos at first is a really good idea. Yeah, just have a bank ready for yourself. That way you have that leeway. He gave me a 94 Mercedes E320 for it. Like I said, man, I mean, you're a better mechanic than me. I mean, you're definitely diverse and all of that. And I mean, it seems like you like working on cars anyway. So you traded it for him, and then you still get to tinker on it, and then you have the other one to tinker on when he's not around. So I don't know. I don't know who got the better win out of that, because it seems like both of you guys got a really good deal. Oh, you mean TikTok? Yeah. 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 Most of the stuff, like you could do your YouTube shorts if you word things correctly. Like if you don't say subscribe and follow and things like that, like the ones that are specific to the platforms. Like I said, is like, hey, if you want to see the tool set that helped me complete this job, check out my previous video. That's relatable to all three platforms, because you'll have that previous video on all three platforms. They click on your profile, they scroll back, they'll see what you have. That way you don't have to rephrase the end of your video for each platform. So find a way to use verbiage that's consistent on all three platforms. So if you say subscribe, that's a YouTube thing. If you say follow, that's an Instagram or a TikTok thing. You'll have to rephrase it for the other platforms. Yeah, but I think you're off to a good start. You definitely have the knowledge. I think all that you have to do now is put it on video, edit a little bit, and put it up. Mr. Duxley, I just came here to say Miata is always the answer. Okay. I think we touched on that earlier, that Miata is a very popular brand, or sorry, Miata is a very popular car. And that if you did a YouTube channel on it, that a lot of people would watch it. You know, it's a very common car, so it's profitable in that respect. It's relatable, and it's a car that a lot of people love and has been around for a long time, right? So there's many generations of Miata, so why not make a channel on it and make videos on it? If you have the knowledge and if you are willing to make the content, I think it would work. All right. So, oh, here we go. Soul Slinger. We're getting a slight break, but the rain is coming back. PNW is crazy with the weather right now. Okay. Kind of relatable. I think for us, like Sunday was really, really nice. Monday was kind of gloomy and then cleared up a little bit. And then it was same thing today, gloomy, cleared up. So we'll see. Hopefully we're both making it out of it. I'm a little tired of the rain, the wind, and the cold. So having some consistent, sunny, warm weather would be very nice. Navid, you're a very motivating person. Thank you. I was on the fence about it, but now definitely going to go and do it. Yes, please do. I mean, why not? Why not? I mean, the worst case scenario is that you don't enjoy it, but your personal speaking skills are going to get better. And I think like the thing is like let's just say like if it doesn't work out, at least you know for sure like you're going to tell people like, hey, it wasn't for me, versus like at the back of your mind, you're always going to be like, oh, I wish I did it. I should have tried. What if? But you've been selling cars for a long time. You've been wanting to do this for a long time. So I don't think that that's going to happen. I'm just saying is like, what's the floor for you? The floor for you isn't that far of a fall, but I think your ceiling is incredibly high. And so I would be sad if you didn't do this, because you know, you have a 2 series, you have a 4 series, but then you're going to be able to talk to people about something that like I can't. Like I don't sell cars on the side. I don't have that kind of experience. The other people that I mentioned, like Justin, Keys, Thick Whips, they don't talk about selling cars, right? And then you can also talk about how you do it as a student part-time. And then I don't know, like maybe you pay your own tuition on your own with that money. Maybe like you can afford your own rent with that money. So then how do you sell cars like that when you're a student, and then you're able to afford, you know, XYZ thing with it, not in a bragging sense, but helping people like, I know that you're busy, but this is a good way to make money because it doesn't take up that much time. You know, the upside potential is really good. The profit margins are good. And hey, I'm just a student. I don't even do this full time. Like, I mean, I think it would work. Like, and plus two, your audience will never age. Think about that. For me, with the 2 series, eventually the 2 series will go away, right? Eventually this chassis has already stopped its production. And so, yes, maybe some enthusiasts will keep the car around for 20, 30 years, but eventually if I want to keep doing this, I need to find another chassis. But guess what? There's always going to be a new batch of college students that are trying to make some side money to afford their tuition, afford their cost of living, that want to make more money in a short amount of time with a good profit margin. Even if the car that they're selling is not the same as yours, the principles will always be relatable. Your content is evergreen and your audience never ages. Simple as that. There's always more and more college students, I feel like, too. So I feel like your audience is actually growing, if anything. Mr. Ducky. Really is. Love watching the shorts and how well made they are. I'm not a BMW guy, but he makes me want to get one. Well, thank you. I mean, like I said, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if you like Miatas, I encourage you to do your thing in the realm of Miata, not because I don't want the competition. If you want to get a BMW, by all means. I mean, I think no matter where you are as far as car brand, more people only make the community better. Of course, we want responsible people. You know, we don't want. There are a lot of people I've seen. I don't know why I get recommended a lot of these. I guess you would say like irresponsible activities. But you seem very passionate about Miata, and I'm pretty sure you would have an audience. Anything Miata is going to have an audience, man. Anything. Soul Slinger, gotta go. Have a good night, everyone. See you next Tuesday. See you, Soul Slinger. Have a good one. Have fun working on the cars. Avi Gaming, thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yes, anybody who's looking to do a YouTube channel, I encourage you, go out and do it. No matter what car, find a way to be relatable. Like, even if Naveed over here was, say he picked like the most unpopular cars to sell. Like, maybe there's only like 5 of them in the world or whatever, or maybe like they've stopped in circulation and there's only so many of them around right now. But what he's able to do with those cars is extremely relatable. So it doesn't matter that the car is unpopular or that you don't see them around anymore. What he does with that car is popular, is desirable. So I think it doesn't even matter what car you have, man. Like you'll do fine. Leaning into that topic, touching that realm, and doing it from the perspective of not a car salesman, right? So, you know, car salesmen have a bad reputation, and sometimes people won't trust them, even if they have like a thing like on YouTube. But you is like, hey, I actually did this. I didn't do it, and you know, I didn't have like a corporate backing and all these things. I'm just a regular person like all of you. I think you'll do good. I don't see why not. It'd be hard for me to imagine. So I hope that was helpful to anybody. I hope anybody like 50-50 lean towards doing it. And I think you have the right mindset, Naveed, in doing it with your phone first, going with like a standard height tripod, a small tripod, and buy lights. If somebody told me like, oh, I only have a couple $100 to buy a camera, what would I buy? And if they have a flagship or even a cell phone that's not even a couple years old, I would say your cell phone is your camera. Take the money that you would have spent on a camera and buy lights. Buy good video lights. That way you don't get that weird flickering that happens in some people's videos. Of course, if you're recording things like a screen upgrade or whatever, it can't be helped. But if you're replacing the suspension components, having video lights that don't have that green or magenta shift, it's like pure daylight looking light, is going to help reduce the distractions for the viewers. And so, like I said, is if you're not spending at least $1,000, and I would say like 1,500 is where you want to start for yourself, is where you want to start for your DSLR, because your camera is already worth almost $1,000. So anything less than that, you're downgrading your video quality. Naveed, do you do this every Tuesday? What time? This is the first time I saw it come up on my YouTube. Yeah, I normally do this Tuesdays. So I'm here on the West Coast. I know that you said you're in the UK, so I'm over here in the States. I do it 5:30, normally 5:30 Pacific time. I had a pretty stacked day today, so I pushed it to 5:45 as scheduled, but then I actually finished a little bit early, and so I opened up at 5:40. But you can usually count around that 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays. I'll be here. Yeah. Thank you. You've given me some really good insight. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Is I'm not terrific at this stuff. I don't even consider myself maybe advanced beginner is what I would consider myself. I would say where I'm at with all this stuff right now is probably where people would hope to be or would want to be in a year's time. If you do this full time, you could probably get to where I'm at in 6 months. It's nothing special, to tell you the truth. So I definitely believe that if I can do it, then all of you guys can do it. And I'm here to help. I'm happy to help. Mr. Ducky again. Do you have any specific lights you recommend? I would say look at what's on sale And then if you see that they have a wide variety of things that you like, then stick to that brand, because usually the LED technology is the same. Like, for example, if you go from aperture to Godox, and then you keep going back and forth, like the color of the light might not exactly line up. I do have a tendency to lean towards aperture. So like my big softbox here is the aperture 100 or 200D. My light over there is like the portable aperture light. And if you look at my previous live stream, let me see if I can pull it up here. I have the links for all the stuff that I pretty much use in that video's description. And the thing that I like is, even though that some of them are off brand, I actually did quite a bit of research and testing to see what lights match up really well that are off brand. Usually when you're within the same brand, you're very, very safe as far as the colors matching up and all this stuff. If you want to do like colored stuff, like the RGB stuff, it doesn't really matter because you're going to be shifting the color anyways. Let me see if I can find it here. There's a segment in here. Here we go. So there's the link to the last live stream. There's a segment in there called, let me see here. Let me share my screen. Good evening, everybody. This is the video. That's the thumbnail that you can expect. And the video is over here. Let me, so that my internet doesn't freeze up. If I can scroll. These are all the lights that I use. So most of the stuff when I do like recommendations as far as like video stuff or even car, this is the light that you would use, not in even car stuff. I'll usually recommend like, hey, like this thing is popular, but I haven't tested it out myself yet. Like I'll usually recommend that people, if they want a really good fit and finish for suspension, you do something like Bilstein, because Bilstein makes the BMW OEM coilover, so they already have like the diagram and the schematics, if you will, for that suspension component. So they know that, you know, the mounting point for the end links are going to be here. But I'll tell people, I haven't tried it out, but from all the reviews I saw, this is what you can expect. I can recommend KWs based off of this because I actually use them. These lights, I can recommend all of them because I have all of them. So this light right here, I'm using that right now. I'm using this one right now off to the side over here. I used this cube light and the box and the rectangular one. I used those earlier today. The only light that I didn't use today is the one down below because this is my magnetic one. If you've ever seen any of my videos where I open the trunk, the light that's coming, that's illuminating it isn't actually my trunk light. It's this. So anytime that you see me open the trunk and illuminate the trunk, it's this light. If not one, I have both. And for all these lights, I have two. I always have a backup because usually things with the cars are very symmetrical. So usually if you can hook up one, you want the other so that it doesn't cast a huge shadow. But then again, that's only if you're doing like DIYs and stuff. If you're doing stuff like vlogging or whatever, just one of each is perfectly fine, right? And the good thing that I like about them is that they all have their own different sizes, so they are going to fit really well for different situations. So I hope that helped. Naveed. Also, side note that wrapping video you did on your 2 series made me do it to mine, and it completely transformed my car. Then did a TikTok doing mine and got 200K views. There you go, man. What are you waiting for? You're already getting views. Honestly, I'm not that happy about that video either. I think the one that I did on the 3 series, I did the one on the 3 series because I was so disappointed in myself in how the 2 series video came out. And I was so much happier with the one with the 3 series. So I'm happy that you got 200K views. To me, it sounds like your video is better than mine, and I'm happy that happened because it shows the evolution of things, right? Like I should make a better video than the person that I watched, so long as they're not a professional, right? But generally speaking, like I should offer something that wasn't present in the video that I watched. And you, in that respect, should do the same. And 200K views, you obviously did something right. You did something really, really good. So I'm happy to hear that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I look forward to seeing what you have in store. I really do. I don't think anybody has taken that kind of stance in cars for which you're about to embark. So I'm very excited for you. I really am. Yeah, I don't know. I'm for some reason, I'm really stoked about this because I think it would be really good. Plus, like, college is getting more and more expensive when it doesn't need to be. And they make you take more and more classes when you don't really need to. You just need to take the stuff for your major and get out. So you are going to help a lot of people. No, you did really well. It told me exactly how to do it. So thank you. Okay, I'll take it. I appreciate that. I'm very excited for you. I really am. So when you build up your library and you start releasing videos, I mean, I don't mind, man. I mean, hop on the live stream and share your channel. So I look forward to seeing you again. I really do. And I want you to share your videos. I really do. Because I think it will help a lot of people, right? I have a niece who's going to go to college in like a year and a half, and I have a nephew who's in college right now. So, you know, I think that your videos would be helpful to them and their friends. I'm looking forward to it. So unless there's anything else, I think we'll wrap it up for today, and I'll see everybody next week, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. If there's a certain topic that you guys would like me to cover, let me know. You know, you can reach out to me on Instagram or TikTok and just say, hey, I'd like to cover this topic. And even if the topic is like something where I don't have to be the focal point, right? Like we could just kind of like brainstorm on things, of ideas or whatever. And, you know, we could get a lot of involvement. So if this is a topic where we want a lot of participation from everybody, I'm okay with that. I can take second fiddle, no problem. I mean, yes, I will definitely come back once I've done the videos. Hey man, you're welcome anytime. And so with that, I hope all of you have a good evening. I hope this was helpful for everybody, and I'll see all of you next week.